I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
And we're back. Episode 24.
What?
Here we are.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing Rob Zombie Part 2.
Yes.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wee. Yeah, we're going to talk about The Devil's Rejects next.
Oh, yeah.
Which, of course, I watched that yet again for the 400th time.
Yes.
And did it with a commentary, which was a little more painful this time around. Rob Zombie's gotten older.
Not as entertaining.
Yeah, not nearly as entertaining. Plus, if you have the 2-disc set, the second disc in the DVD set is the 30 Days from Hell or whatever it's called. And it's every single thing that happens during filming.
Yeah.
Josh finds it incredibly boring.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this in previous episodes, but yeah, I appreciate that he does document everything. I think it's cool. But I don't need to see all of it, you know? Just condense it down to like an hour, maybe hour and a half behind the scenes or making a featurette. I'm good.
See,
I'm good. That's all I need.
And I absolutely appreciate every bit of this because everything that I have, you know that every time I watch a movie, no matter what it is, if there's special features, I'm going in there.
Right.
I'm gonna find you special features. And this one, on his special features, he did like these little featurette things that he had put in there, you know, things like that. And like a blooper reel.
Right.
Which really wasn't as funny as it could have been. But that's beside the point. And a lot of the commentary that he says in this is in the 30 Days of Hell, whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I knew a lot of what he was saying because I have watched that whole thing I think 3 times now.
Yeah. I will say that you do learn and see a lot more about how films are actually made than any other behind the scenes thing I've ever watched. So I will say that part of it, that aspect of it is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's too much for me.
I know.
It's a lot.
And I wanted to be in special effects makeup when I was younger. And so being able to see just how all of this gets put together, you know. But I did learn some fun facts. So here we go.
Hit me with
All right. Devil's Rejects.
Yes.
It came out on July 22nd, 2005. And it had the same budget as House of a Thousand Corpses of $7 million. But they walked away with just a little bit more at $19.4 million at the box office. So there's some fun stuff.
Right.
And these are things that I've also learned during the commentary because I have always wondered what's the time frame between the 2 movies? Like how long have they been in hiding in this house? And on top of that, I don't think they ever talk about, they must have killed the family at the house to be in it because it's not the same house.
Right.
It's very clear, he makes that very clear, these are not the same houses.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, because I mean, they didn't even try to make it look like the first house. So I think because it's actually a ranch, they went in and killed the family. Yeah. And took the house. And I'm sure Otis, you know, went and had sex with dead bodies.
Probably.
More than likely. So anyway, so because I always wondered that, he did actually mention it in this, and it's 8 months. That's it.
Yeah.
So they weren't very good at hiding.
Right.
Because 8 months is not very long time.
No.
But it's still 1978, just later on in 1978. That's all. It doesn't give specifics, of course. Some other stuff that I thought was interesting with this one. So when watching that 30 Days thing, they even talk about like the coloring that they do. And I thought that was fascinating because I didn't know. And this movie, it's not bright. It is not cheery.
Right.
It is nitty gritty, just down to, you know, like, oh, well, the shit's hit the fan.
The shit's gonna hit the fan.
To me, it feels like an old Western.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, as far as the colors and the grittiness of it, you know.
And the surroundings.
Yeah.
It's just dirt roads and just hills and trees and just... Blech.
Yeah, rundown buildings.
Yeah. And it's hot.
Yeah, always looks hot. Yeah, for sure.
Ugh. And that was part of the coloring.
Yeah.
That was what they were doing, was trying to do that. And, you know, his film direction was fantastic in this, and how he chose to edit things and slow down shots that were filmed at regular speed.
Right.
Slowed them down, did the freeze frame thing. He even talked about this in House of a Thousand Corpses, where there was split screen, just like in the 70s. And this one was more of what I had expected the first one to be.
Okay.
That's what I was anticipating it to. But I appreciate that it was different.
Yeah.
Because the first one, everything's cool. They're having a great life. You know, I mean, it's shitty life, really. I mean, but they're content with
what they're doing.
Yeah,
right?
They're fine.
Yeah.
And then, you know, now it's not so great.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the tone just totally shifts between House of a Thousand Corpses and this movie. It's just it feels totally different.
Yeah.
But it still works, and the characters that worked in House of a Thousand Corpses still work when you drop them into this new setting as well, which I find really interesting and cool.
It's fascinating, really. And this was, I noticed it was more psychological. There was a lot more torture, that kind of thing, and that would be with the sheriff, with any of the characters, there was torture involved.
Yeah.
And apparently it was incredibly difficult for a lot of these actors to do these scenes.
I believe it.
Especially the motel scene.
Oh, yeah.
But I appreciated that because it kind of drove home the idea of how much stress they're going through, and now they're going to put it out on to other people.
Right.
Before it was all fun and games, and, we're going to turn this guy into Fish Boy and play Brick House and dance to it.
Yeah.
I hate that song. But now it's just like, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
This is sucky. It's not our dream anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, for however many years they got away with it.
Right.
And now it ain't happening.
Yeah. And then on the other side, you've got Bill Forsyth as the sheriff, and his descent into madness, you know, is kind of fascinating to watch. I mean, he starts off, obviously, he's quite the zealot to begin with, but then as he just kind of goes farther and farther and farther over the edge, I think is a really good performance as well.
Absolutely. He did a great job, and it was not what you would anticipate was going to happen. You really thought it was going to be, all right, they caught him, they're chasing him, they caught him again, done.
Yeah.
But no, it went in a different direction. The other thing that Rob Zombie had mentioned is that he did not want a gazillion references from the first movie to this one. He wanted it to be able to stand alone.
Right.
And he did an amazing job of that.
Yeah.
So the Dr. Satan from the first movie was supposed to be in the second movie. And they filmed all this stuff with Dr. Satan, a lot of references, and then he just decided to take it out.
Yeah.
It was overcomplicated, and it just didn't make sense.
Right.
And in House of a Thousand Corpses, Grandpa was supposed to be revealed as Dr. Satan, and he decided not to do
Change
that.
that part as well.
But he would say that he would rewrite scripts every day. So he was constantly changing stuff. And I think that that's excellent.
Yeah.
To not just be like, nope, this is what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Because I don't think that you can adapt a film.
Well, yeah, to recognize that something's not working or not going to work, and then to be able to change it is a good quality to have.
Absolutely.
I think, when you're filming, instead of sticking with something no matter what, and rolling the dice on it.
Yeah. Well, and in response to what you were saying about how the characters were able to go from one film to another in a totally different environment, they changed for this, to where Baby originally, she was so cute and cartoony and just whatever, bouncy and happy.
Yeah. Now
she was just like, this is a no bullshit kind of situation.
Right.
The woman couldn't even afford jeans that didn't have holes in it ever.
Right.
And the same thing with Otis. He just, in the first one, he had this weird chops going on. I didn't like.
Yeah.
They really, I just wanted to trim them so bad. But the second movie, he didn't have any of that. He was a normal human.
Yeah, he definitely looks better with the beard and everything.
Yeah. He looked more realistic.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as Captain Spaulding goes, you know, we learned that he is their father.
I am your father.
Right.
Or at least her father.
Right.
Because he calls him Cutter.
Right.
So I mean, Mom was kind of a hoe, so,
right, exactly.
you know, got around.
That's right.
All the different clowns in town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Rob Zombie had even mentioned, you know, that he only had his makeup on for a short time in the second movie because he said, you know, he had such a great face, why cover it up?
Right.
Because his expression and everything was all hidden behind that clown makeup.
Right.
And I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely agree, because Sid Haig's a great actor, and need to uncover that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let it go, man.
Yeah.
He's not the most attractive fella in the world, but he was very expressive.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. One part of this that I really like was Diamond Dallas Page and Danny Trejo as the bounty hunters in this.
Of course.
And it's like, I wish that there was a movie just about them, like a spin-off.
I'm kind of surprised there hadn't been, because they're such clowns.
Exactly.
You know, and at the time when I first saw this movie, I had watched wrestling, but I could only remember so many of these wrestlers at the time.
Right.
So later on, when I learned, I finally put two and two together and saw his tiny eyes, because it was way too much plastic surgery. Yeah. He had a little Kenny Rogers eyes.
Yeah, a little bit. It
was weird and creepy. But anyway, I was like, oh, that's who that is. And it was surprising that that's who he decided to hire for that. You know, I thought that was weird.
Yeah. I don't know anything about how that came about, so it'd be interesting to find that out. But
well, I mean,
Danny Trejo makes sense, obviously.
Danny Trejo, absolutely,
but I had DDP in there. I have no idea how that happened.
Well, and I hope they said something in the commentary, but he never did.
Yeah. So then we also have Ken Foree from Dawn of the Dead, most famously, I'd say. And then also Michael Berryman, who was Pluto in The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah. And I think that just speaks to Rob Zombie's appreciation for these other movies, that he just kind of pulls people in. You know, you've also got a very brief scene with PJ Souls from Halloween, you know, so I think it's pretty cool that he has such appreciation for some of these actors that are underutilized, you know, or typecast, and kind of brings them in to these movies.
Well, and I found out that Kane Hodder was the stunt coordinator in Devil's Rejects.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like...
I'm surprised they didn't try to put him in there.
Well, he was in certain things, but he was masked.
Okay.
Even Sherry Moon's brother was in the beginning shootout scene because he knew how to shoot a gun.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he was.
But I just mean as far as a character, he could have been one of the bounty hunters, you know,
he could have been.
or something. I'm just surprised they didn't want him to, or maybe he didn't want to. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe
he just wanted to focus on the stunt stuff.
Son,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It is interesting, and I do think that Rob Zombie, between his appreciation of horror and music, he really brings it out in the movies.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing, is the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's phenomenal.
Amazing on this movie.
Yeah. And, you know, I of course knew what Freebird was. I'd heard it 1,000 times before this movie. But now that I have seen this movie, that's what I picture every time I hear it.
And that's a perfect ending as well. And that's something
amazing.
we need to talk about. You know, this is where the saga should have ended, because then you've got the movie we don't discuss in this house, 3 from Hell, which was so disappointing, especially when the ending of Devil's Rejects is so perfect. That is exactly how they should have gone out. Yeah. And that should have been the end of it. You know, we
went and saw 3 from Hell when it was in the theater. So excited because of course I love the first 2, and I was just excited to see them again. But unfortunately, Sid Haig was so sick, even during the filming of that movie, that they snuck him in to do the his shots because he wouldn't pass the health stuff for actors. Right. So because he was so sick, he couldn't be in the rest of the movie, and dude was in there. I don't even know what the guy's name is. Because we watched it one time and never watched it again because it was so bad.
Not good.
And it was a try-hard.
Yeah.
And the third dude, I'm just like, who's this asshole?
It felt, the whole thing just felt so unnecessary. You know, it's like, once Sid Haig passed away, they should have just been like, you know, no, just leave it be.
Well, shit, they all technically died in the car.
Oh, exactly.
The Devil's Rejects. Just, okay, then they went out in a blaze of glory.
That was the perfect ending.
Yeah.
And, once they started this next one and Sid Haig was so sick and couldn't even be in it, they should have just, House of 1,000 Corpses and Devil's Rejects are so different from one another. Maybe if they had made Three from Hell different, change things up again and drop these characters in yet another environment and situation, then maybe. But it just feels like a inferior copy of Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, but in Mexico.
Yeah, partially in Mexico.
Yeah, that's where they changed it up. That was it. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have wanted to watch it again just to see if I missed something. But it's one of those things where I just would rather shove a hot poker in my eye than watch it again. I would rather watch paint dry, a rock form, anything else, but watch that again. I'd rather watch a really bad serial killer movie again. Just anything like that.
Absolutely.
So it is frustrating because you have a masterpiece and then you have a turd that follows it. Absolutely. And but Devil's Rejects, it definitely stood on its own. And I think it did very well, and I actually prefer it over House of 1,000 Corpses if I have a choice.
Yeah, I go back and forth on which one I like more.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on what mood, the mood.
Well, yeah. I mean, because they are so different from each other.
Exactly.
I mean, House of 1,000 Corpses is great around Halloween.
Yeah.
And then Devil's Rejects is the rest of the year.
That's an anytime watch. Yeah, for sure.
It just feels more because it's supposed to be Halloween and all this stuff in the first one. So it's just so colorful and bright like Halloween is.
Yes.
So I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
More than likely. Right. Anyway, so that's it. We're only doing 2 parts here.
Yeah, 2.
Because 3 is hot garbage, and we're not doing that. We're not going into 3 from Hell. Right. Because it's 3 from Poop. Yep. So, but what did you guys think?
Yeah, which one do you like better? Let us know in the comments.
Did you like 3 from Hell?
Yeah, let us know what you thought of it, because we know that's a thumbs down for us on that one, but thumbs up on the other 2.
Yes, fantastic.
So, Rob Zombie, we mostly salute you.
Yes, about 85%.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Salute. That last percentage is just done.
Yes.
Because he should have just left it alone.
Right.
Leave well enough alone.
Yes.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's
I don't know. Let me see if I can come up with it.
Nope, I think that's all.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when our stuff comes out. Check us out on social media and all that good stuff.
And don't forget that, as you see today, this came out on a Friday.
Yes.
And this is when it will continue to happen, is on a Friday.
Yes.
Unless you guys come after us with pitchforks
That's right.
and torches. Friday.
Yep.
It's the day.
Yep.
And let us know if there's any other movies you want us to cover.
Yes.
We have noticed that a couple movies that we have covered that we never thought would get any attention have had some of the biggest watches so far, and it's very surprising.
Absolutely.
So, we're gonna continue to do weird too.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next time. Bye.